This was suggested a while ago. Andrew Klavan takes the political compass test. Andrew Klavan works for the Daily Wire. He is not Ben Shapiro, and he is not that other guy, Michael Knowles. Everybody's already done the Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles stuff. We are dealing with the C tier now of celebrities of the Daily Wire. The C tier of conservative. I can't say that in the first 30 seconds. Okay. The big streamers, the big boys did Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles. Now I get to clean up the leftovers. Let's go.
All right, so I'm going to take this stupid quiz. I hate these stupid quizzes, but I'm going to do it because I was asked to do it by the Daily Wire. And
Did he did you not do well in school? I'm sorry.
And, they've been nice to me most of the time. They give me a parking space. So if I have a parking space, I have to do this. We're going to find out where on this chart I belong. I would say somewhere between Gandhi and absolute fascism. I mean, Gandhi just because I'm such a holy person, and fascism because I like the costumes. I like the uniforms.
That's a weird thing to say.
So that's where.
No, this isn't Scott Adams. He looks like Scott Adams, kind of. Yeah, this is the guy who is obsessing. He went a little viral a while back, obsessing over his fantasy about how he could beat a woman in a sword fight and how he could kill any woman in a sword fight.
Where I'm going for. I don't want. I want to be Gandhi, but I want to dress with the epaulets and the military uniform. I'm already looking at the first question. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. So
he's laughing at the word trans there.
We know that some leftist clown wrote this because you can't serve transnational corporations instead of humanity. But I guess.
Don't argue with the quiz. Answer the question.
I'm going to say agree. I'm a big fan of humanity and like it better than transnational corporations. So.
Can you imagine if here I am sitting in my Western Civ class, and the question's like, what did the Renaissance do for the development of European history? And then I'm like, well, this is written by a leftist. No, it's answer the question.
Sort of. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. I disagree. It could be so wrong that I couldn't support my country. No one chooses his or her country of birth.
Well, that's a decent answer.
So it's foolish to be proud of it. No, that is absolutely wrong. No one chooses one's mother, but it's not foolish to love her. Breathes there a man with soul so dead who never to himself has said, this is my own, my native land. I would write that in, but I haven't got room.
No. Oh boy. If your mother's like a serial killer, you don't have to love her, okay? It's perfectly fine.
Our race has many superior qualities compared to other races. I don't agree.
Excuse me, he bragged about his ability to kill women with swords, huh? Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, let me show you, just for context.
The show.
Because some people probably have no idea.
And so the lady who made the show, the showrunner, Lauren Schmidt Hisrich, announced she was going to pay attention to the women. And immediately I was put off by the fact that there's a queen in this who fights like a man. And there's a couple of scenes where women fight with swords. And I just hate these scenes because no woman can fight with a sword. 0 women can fight with a sword. And what I mean by that is in a situation where you are fighting men who are used to fighting with swords, you are going to get killed if you were a woman fighting with a sword 100% of the time, right? Now, you can a woman with a sword could kill somebody. A woman.
This is spoken by a guy who's never actually practiced fencing or sword fighting at all. Not even someone who's watched the Olympics.
With a sword could kill somebody who doesn't know how to fight with a sword, but in a war situation where you are swinging this 5 to 10 pound sword again and again and again against much, much, much stronger men, they are going to kill you. So when you write a woman who fights with a sword, and this queen she's a man. They should have made the character a man. She's a man. She's gross, and she swaggers around, and she rips into the,
Okay. Slight note. Swords are not 5 to 10 pounds. They're usually about 2. They're really light.
eats and tears it with her teeth and curses people out. She's a man. So there was this feminist statement. I
2 to
just thought,
5.
please give me a break. And I don't know if that's in the books, but I just thought, give me a break. This is not the way any woman behaves.
I have no idea what's up with the audio, but that's what we found. The whole purpose of swords being invented was that anyone could use them, and it's easier to kill someone with them. You don't need to be particularly strong, don't need to be particularly have a lot of endurance. You have a sword, it's sharp, you stab them, they die. The whole point of using the sword is that we're using our ingenuity over our strength. Yeah, he doesn't know history. Yeah. But it's just a fantasy of him stabbing women, I guess. Oh, boy. Yeah, samurai family women were required to be warriors. You're right. That was the thing. He doesn't know. We did a whole segment a couple streams ago, I think, talking about it. But yeah, that's the same guy, so.
Agree with that. That's ridiculous. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Hold on.
I don't agree with this. Has many superior qualities compared to other races. I don't agree with that.
He just disagrees. Not strongly disagrees, though.
That's ridiculous. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Not necessarily, but I know what they're saying. I'll mildly agree with that.
And that's the first person I've seen to agree with that.
Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I strongly agree with that. International law is malarkey. There is now a...
Oh, it's just malarkey? What does he want to... I wonder what he defines international law as. Different people I've noticed define it differently. Should we violate the Geneva Convention? Should we? Yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's violate it. Just a little bit. It's a little bit of war crime. That's a treat.
Worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Of course that is true. There is, of course, a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. If you're watching Stephen Colbert, you think you're getting information and entertainment.
No, it's you, dog. You are the fusion.
You're getting neither, so that's very worrying right there. People are
It's you, though.
ultimately divided more by class than by nationality.
He's speedrunning this. I like it.
No, that's wrong. Strongly disagree. I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm processing the question. Okay.
when people go to war, they find themselves sitting right next to a guy from a totally different class, but they fight together. Controlling
The question wasn't about war. The question was how people are divided ultimately.
inflation.
Oh my god. Did these people all fail their history classes when they ask questions? They just not understand the questions.
Is more important than controlling unemployment.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree, because you can't control unemployment. That's
Oh. Wait, what?
ridiculous.
You can't control unemployment. Sure you can. You got factors to it. It's not like a simple we control every little detail of it, but we implement policies that do affect employment in the end.
I'm not sure you can control inflation either. Because corporations...
Yes, you absolutely do control inflation. Since swapping to the gold standard, inflation has remained at a steady 5-6% for the last 40 years. I mean, since switching off of the gold standard. It's...
Corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment. They require regulation. That is, of course, true. The environment does not create profit, and it is something that the government has a right to regulate. We just shouldn't panic about it. They have a little button for don't panic. From each according to his ability.
You don't have much else, just don't panic.
Ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. It is a fundamentally crap idea. First of all, who says what your ability is and who says what your need is? So that's ridiculous.
The question isn't who said it. The question isn't who defines it. The question is, do you think it's a good idea?
That's Karl Marx. I've been rereading Karl Marx. The guy was a complete clown. He's a complete phony.
I don't think you can read.
So I can strongly disagree with that and actually know what I'm talking about, which is...
You don't!
It's a different experience for me, but it's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product Totally disagree. Why shouldn't it be a bottled, branded consumer product? Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought
All he has is why shouldn't it be? That's not a great one.
or sold. Strong
Marx died poor, so he's a clown. This is true, actually. No, yeah, notice he didn't specifically say much about Karl Marx's arguments, just he's a clown. That's not really intellectual discourse.
strongly disagree. Of course, what else are you going to do with it? Property is the extension of your activity, so of course you should be able to sell it. It is regrettable.
No, land. It refers to land being commodified or decommodified and used by everybody. Oh,
that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. I mean, try that. That's great. I could make a fortune. This is a $50 bill. I'm manipulating it. It's still a $50 bill. So that didn't work. Maybe because they're not manipulating money. Maybe because they are actually investing in things and risking their personal fortunes to make a fortune while...
What are you drinking?
That was stupid.
Some mud.
Like, that was the stupidest one he's said so far.
Others, idiots.
Klavan is not an alchemist, confirmed. And he called me look at that face. There we go, thumbnail. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Let me, there we go. I'm gonna move my face. Yeesh.
Their personal fortunes to make a fortune while helping others. Idiots.
So he means investing. I always thought the question was about venture capitalists and I guess stockholders. Well, to a lesser extent shareholders, but like people okay, whatever.
Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. That's a tough one. I can agree if you're trying to keep an enemy from acquiring a good, for instance, I suppose. The only social...
Is that protectionism or is that just geopolitics?
responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. The problem with that question is, I know what they're asking. They think, like, shouldn't they be bringing diversity and all this stuff? But of course, the only social responsibility of a company is not to deliver a profit. They also have a responsibility to not dump poison into the river just because they can get away with it, or not to
don't panic over it, though.
Fire people so that the boss can be paid exorbitant amount of money. They have a right to do that, but they do have a responsibility to behave like a good citizen because they expect the rights of a citizen. I will disagree with that.
I'm amazed. I think Ben Shapiro strongly agreed with that one.
Mildly. The rich are too highly taxed. I strongly agree with that. The rich are way too highly taxed.
The rich are taxed at a lower rate now than anyone watching this, unless one of you happen to be, in the top 0.1% of the United States, which I strongly doubt. The United States has a lower tax bracket now, lower tax rate for the people at the very top than we've ever had in our history, with the exception of right when we were founded.
Get taxed for everything. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Well, that's a trick question, see, because it's not they should have access.
It's not.
It's that they will have access.
No, it's a should question. It's an ought question, not an is ought gap. Ha ha! I finally used that to be relevant. It's an ought question. How ought things be? How should the world be?
They are going to have access. So I will agree.
Not how it is.
You shouldn't be able to stop them from having that access.
These people are incredible. I can't wrap my brain around it.
People who have more money are going to get better stuff. We should just send this video right to those guys at Media Matters so they can attack us for them. I just wanted to hit Hitler and then send it off to them. Whenever you see the guys at Media Matters, when Knowles retweets them, they always have their face on the tweet.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Young communist fascists. Hi, I'm Media Matters. But really, they're just a bunch of old ladies going, hi.
Communist fat? What is he doing?
Heard somebody say something that I didn't like. So we should just send this over to government should penalize.
Not funny didn't laugh. And I don't understand what he's talking about.
businesses that mislead the public. Of course they should. I mean, you shouldn't be able to do false advertising. They do penalize corporations that do.
Yes.
A genuine free
He's right. Yes.
market requires.
Oh, okay. Side note for everyone watching: false advertising is when you say you're going to sell a product, but you lie to them. You sell them something else instead of what you said they were selling. No, I'm watching this at normal speed, Hal Malcolm. He's on crack. Let me show this. Let me just show settings, playback speed, normal. Yeah. Yeah. Just absolutely cannot grasp abstract thinking. That's why they don't like abstract art either. They're very, you see, conservatives are dumb. This is episode 7. They're not able to think beyond a few steps. That's why they can't be consistent. They have to deal with what's in front of them, and that's it. You can't go any further beyond that.
Restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Yeah, I'd agree that you can form a monopoly and it should be stopped. The freer the market, the freer the people, strong.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's good.
That you can form a monopoly and it should be stopped. The freer the market, the freer the people, strongly agree with that. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Strongly agree. Well, now we're getting into the good questions.
He would strongly agree with that. I'm gonna eat because I don't respect you, Andrew Klavan.
Who cares about corporations? All authority should be questioned. Yeah, I agree with that. And
oh, he doesn't explain the abortion bit. Okay.
Eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. What does that even mean? It's a phrase, it's a euphemism for justice. We should have justice. Yeah, I'm going to agree with it. But
what does it mean? It means should punishment in our justice system be equivalent? If I cut off someone's eye, should I have my own eye cut off by the state? It's a pretty simple question.
What I like about these things is you start out really paying attention to the questions and asking what does it mean, what your opinion is. By the time you get through them, it's like, I don't care, I disagree, whatever. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. I agree. They should not be expected to. I do believe in patrons of the arts, and I am an artist, and so if you want to send me money, you should do that right away. Then I can tell that Ben Shapiro what I really think of him. Actually, I like Ben, so I don't actually need the money, so don't send money. School, I could tell Knowles what I already tell Knowles.
This guy's on amphetamines of some kind. Yeah.
I think so. Never mind. I can't get any money. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I agree. You should be able to homeschool. All people have their.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Am I dumb for not liking abstract art? You can not like it, but there's a difference between I don't like abstract art and I don't think it's art. People like Andrew Klavan, conservatives, fascists, they would say it's not art, or it's degenerate, or it's Jewish, and that we shouldn't consider it art, and it's not worthy of being treated as art. It's a very distinct line between just simply not liking it. Also, there's another way of looking at it called like what do you consider to be abstract art? Some of these people really demand they kind of demand well, they're simple. These are simple people. If it doesn't like portray realism in some way, then they don't consider it art usually. Yeah. Realism, sometimes called naturalism, right? So you look at, please don't be porn. Okay. You look at realism like this. Like this is a good example of realism. Y'all remember this picture. Yeah. It's yeah. Realism. Here we are working grain. here we are talking. Yeah. That's considered realism. Abstract art represents something that's not necessarily the same as this. It depends on how you want to. Yeah, there's a very wide range. Okay, here's another idea. Look at this. You know this one? The Scream. This could be considered abstract in a few ways. Is this art to you? Varric Cortez, I'm asking you. You consider this one to be art. Now, see, it's a little different from the realism we were just looking at, though. Now, I say this, I look at this picture and I can tell this conveys something pretty obvious to me. There's a person screaming, they're having a mental breakdown. Here on the bridge, there's other people in the background. The background behind them of the water is just kind of floating by, and it's like not even in focus because this person's having a horrible mental breakdown. That makes sense to me. Now, that's not perfectly conveyed with everything, though. Now, some of these people may say, yes, this is art. Some may not. But my point is, there's degrees. There are degrees of abstraction between realism and what someone may consider abstract art. Okay, now here's another one. Well, that one's really low res. Let me pull up. Ooh, that one's neat. I know. We'll look up a Jackson Pollock painting. Those are good ones. Okay, now, this is a Jackson Pollock painting. Do you consider this one to be art? Is it? I don't know. Who am I to say it's not? The point is, there are degrees of what makes something abstract versus real, and I would say it's all art. It's just different. Meanwhile, certain fascists and conservatives would draw a hard line somewhere in between and say they consider something to not be art, and they get very, very weird about it. That's kind of very weird and very demanding. Okay, you say yes. Okay, good. And what I'm saying makes sense, I hope. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. Well, hold on, there's, let me pull up one more thing, actually. Some abstract art is much more obviously, or is much less contentious among some people to like it. For example, whoops, let's not save that. How about this one? Yeah. This one looks like art, wouldn't you say? This one looks, well, I mean, it's all art, but this one looks, yeah, this is kind of pretty. Blue to red with the bright thing in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go.
Make classroom attendance compulsory. I agree. You should be able to homeschool. All people have their rights. It's better for all of us that
I don't think the question was about homeschooling. The question was about classroom attendance.
different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, come on. It's obviously about race.
I disagree. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Well, I never did, and I don't think it's a good thing to do.
Good.
I don't know. I will agree that, you know, if your kid runs out in the street or something like that, you might want to give them a swat or something.
No, don't do that.
Again, I never did that, but I just terrorize my children. It's it's natural. I just traumatize them, you know.
Yeah, I believe it.
Kill you, you little bit. That way you don't have to hit them. If you just, I'll rip your head off and feed it into your neck.
I think I'd rather get spanked. Yeah, I don't want to imagine what he does to his kids either. This is... what the fuck? No, you just let them get run over by the car.
It's not. That's why you see my children, they blink a lot. I don't know what that is. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents.
That's
of course,
gross.
it is natural for them to do it. It's not always a good thing, but it is natural. I like the way they say natural. They probably think natural means good, but it doesn't. But it is natural for children.
No, it means natural, not... if they meant good, they'd say good.
Children do that. You don't have to tell your parents everything. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. I agree with that. The prime function of schooling
Based! Well, I dropped my cookie.
should be to equip the
Cracker.
future generations to find jobs. Well, I think it should also be to inculcate the culture in the students. Like, I don't think reading Shakespeare necessarily helps you find a job.
Oh.
But I don't think it should be to teach you about gender or values, because you don't know anything about gender or values. Your parents do. So
You don't know anything about Shakespeare, that's why you learn it. Wow, he really fucked that one up.
I will disagree that the prime function of schooling is to equip the future generation to find jobs, because I also think you should learn your culture and why it is you believe what you believe. People with
It's kind of weird.
serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Oh, be quiet. That's
Oh, just disagree?
who decides that? The most important
Not strongly, though. He's not doing strong answers for most of them.
thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. No, that's ridiculous. There are no savages and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. That's absurd. It depends what you mean by peoples. I mean, I assume you mean nations. There are cultures. There are indeed savage and civilized cultures, so I strongly disagree with that. Those who are
Ah! Okay.
able to work and refuse
I mean... what, like cannibalism is what he's gonna say?
in civilized cultures, so I strongly disagree with that.
Alright.
Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. I strongly agree. When you are troubled, it's better not to think
He doesn't explain it, you just gotta go to... Man, he doesn't seem to care about this video very much.
should not expect society's support. I strongly agree.
Okay, get back in the coal mines, bucko!
When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. It depends what you're troubled by. Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, what if you're troubled by a lump on your, body, or you're troubled by something that needs to be talked about? I disagree with that. First generation
Yes! Good answer!
immigrants can never be fully integrated with their new country. I strongly disagree. If
Hey!
it's America. What's good for the most
Hey! I agree with him.
successful corporation is always ultimately good for all of us? No, that's ridiculous. No broadcasting institution, however independent, its content should
Oh,
receive
man, I want the explanations. Come on. Chad is always horny and celiac attacks. Always talking about cannibalism. When will it end? It will never end. What? What, cannibalism doesn't turn you on? What have I created? I got to play in Romeo and Juliet. I was Montague. I got to play Mercutio. Mercutio? I think it was Mercutio. It was fun. That was many years ago, though.
receive public funding. Strongly agree. Our civil
I'm sorry, I zoned out.
institution, however independent, its content should receive public funding. Strongly agree. Our civil liberties
He just doesn't like public funding. Man, come on, give us the answer. No, don't just do a multiple choice. Give us the explanation. That's why we're here.
are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Yes, I agree. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that
He's not answering, not giving an explanation. That's what we want.
delay progress in a democratic world. I strongly disagree. Although the electronic
Garbage content.
age
Tis but a scratch. Yes, okay, yes, that's the character. Poor Mercutio. He didn't deserve that. Alright. I've eaten my fair share of ladies. God damn it, how Malcolm. Not Not lately, you haven't been.
Makes official surveillance easier. Only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. I agree. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below
He just clocked out. He's not giving explanations for any of these.
to be commanded. Well, that's going to happen, but I don't think obeyed and commanded is what I'm looking for, so I'll disagree with that. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Strongly agree.
Every single time! Every single time! This is okay. You know how you were talking about the Rorschach, the Rorschach test earlier? The Rorschach, whatever. This is it! Like, I guess no, it's litmus test is more appropriate. What do you think of abstract art? This is like the big litmus test for whether or not someone's like a goddamn fascist or not. Oh! Every time, without fail. They always do it. I played Edward. I always wondered why everyone thought I was a lesbian. Edward? What are you talking about, Edward? Like Edward and Bella? I'm so confused. I'm sorry.
And the people who create abstract art should be arrested and forced to look at it for the rest of their lives. They should put it in a cell with like little rods and squares and circles that don't mean anything.
I think some of them would like that.
In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than
Yeah, weirdo.
rehabilitation. I agree, because you can't rehabilitate people. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate.
Ew. He doesn't care about... The question isn't about whether or not you can. The question is about, is it more important?
Some criminals, I agree. The business person and the man.
Doesn't even explain it. This is sad. He just keeps jumping. From King Lear. I'm not super familiar with King Lear. I'm sorry.
Manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. I disagree. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. I strongly agree. Multinational companies.
Ah, okay. So he wants people to be homemakers. I guess he's clocked out. He doesn't really care about doing this. Damn, dude. You don't take your job seriously?
These are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developed countries. That's ridiculous. I don't even know what they're talking about.
I don't even know what you're talking about. But I have read Marx and I know what they're talking about.
Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. That depends who the establishment is. Astrology accurately.
That's it? My God. Okay, I take it back. Steven Crowder was better. This sucks.
He explains many things. It explains that people are stupid and will believe anything. You
Hey, I agree.
cannot be moral without being religious. You cannot be moral and make sense without being religious, but you can be moral without being religious because you're listening to the religious guy next to you.
Well, that was stupid. That's amazing that he started with astrology shows people are really stupid who believe anything. And then he goes, yeah, moral people take the morals from religious people. Oh, that's amazing. Oh.
Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. I strongly
amazed they all agree with that.
agree with that. Some people are naturally unlucky.
Doesn't explain it. Okay. I always say it. I'm going to say it again. Charity is essentially just shrugging and saying, maybe someone else will take care of this problem. It's not actually implementing a system that's going to fix anything. It's just hoping someone else will. Hoping someone else will out of the kindness of their hearts, which, guess what, doesn't really happen.
Helping the genuinely disadvantaged. I strongly agree with that. Some people are naturally unlucky. Well, yeah. I mean, people who get sick when they're 10 years old, I would say it's unlucky. It is important that
little kids get cancer too.
My child's school instills religious values. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I think...
All right, good job. Now your kid's got to pray to the Mecca every day. You didn't think that one through, did you, Andrew Klavan?
A religious school is a good thing. Sex outside marriage...
Yeah, he doesn't like that, though.
is usually immoral. You know, I have to agree with that. It's such a gray question with so many gray areas that it's a tough one, but we'll say yes, so they think I'm a real sexual fascist.
Well, I didn't until you used that phrase, sexual fascist. What the fuck? That's uncomfortable. Look at this face. Ew.
A same-sex couple.
No, sex outside marriage is not immoral. The concept of marriage and immorality are just created by these people to try to control us. This is absurd. My cat is crying.
In a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. I agree. But I mean, obviously, if the kid's going to be in a foster home, it's better to have a loving gay couple. Pornography.
Based.
Depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. You know, what's the point? You're never going to be able to stop it, so I agree. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. It's no business of the state, I agree. No one...
That should be a strong agree. What?
...can feel naturally homosexual. That's ridiculous. People are, but that doesn't make it right, but I think homosexuality is something that happens to people.
Doesn't make it right.
These days, openness about sex has gone too far. I definitely agree with that. Where did I come out? I came out...
Get him out of here.
Let me see. I was aiming for fascism. The libertarian right. You know,
he was aiming for fascism?
No, I think I'm probably a little further right, and maybe I'd cross the line toward Thatcherism. I don't know. If they put Thatcherism on the authoritarian right, I don't think she belongs there. She belongs to Milton Friedman. That's the problem. The problem is their stupid chart. And there's...
No. It's amazing these people don't understand Thatcher. It's so stupid that I understand Margaret Thatcher better than these people do. I guess if they understood her, they wouldn't like her. You know, when she died, people in the UK were like fucking partying. The number one song that was the number one song on the chart at the time in the UK when Margaret Thatcher died was from Wizard of Oz, Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. It was... They fucking hated her.
She belongs closer to Milton Friedman. That's the problem. The problem is their stupid chart and their stupid test. And I didn't want to take it in the first place, and now I'm just floating around next to Milton Friedman. It's like hell. It's like, who are you going to spend eternity with? Milton Friedman.
I'd rather spend eternity with Milton Friedman than Andrew Klavan. That's for sure.
Spent eternity with Thatcher. We would have had a great time. But now I'm stuck with Milton Friedman. I hate this test.
I'm about to drink some mud.
I am grossed out. It's over, everyone. I like that he didn't explain a lot of it at the end. He just clocked out and just kept answering them without explaining anything. Pretty lazy. But then again, are we really surprised these people are like not intellectually, there's not much going on up there. And then at the end, he just rants about, I don't want to take your stupid test. All right. That's it. That's all there is. Bye-bye. Andrew Klavan, more like Andrew Barron. That was trash. We're not doing any editing for that. Thanks for watching. Add it to the library of content. Thank you to the March patrons. Dios, Indy AB, Elsie Hupp, George, Irene Schaefer, James Paul, Jai Valamo, Laura Day, Mellow Cheddar, QQ-S, Suzanne Hendrickson, and Zyler on Bandcamp. I guess if there's a demand, we'll do some more. We'll have our own library of responding to everybody doing political compass tests. So ridiculous. That was bottom of the barrel. Low IQ, low energy, so sad. You're supposed to give your reasoning for your answers, and you didn't even do that. Wow, conservative who doesn't put a lot of thought into their political opinions? Imagine my shock. Okay, bye.